All right, guys. Hope you're coming on board, but I'll wait about another minute before I actually get started with today's workshop. So, for those of you who are already on, well, welcome, and please let me know if you can hear me. I'd love to hear from you as always. So, I really do want to know that you are with me, that you are asking questions, that you're participating, and that I'm satisfying your needs more than anything else. So I'm hoping that if you can hear me, just go ahead and go to the live chat. You'll see it on the right side of your page or your window next to my image, and you'll be able to see where you can have live chat. And I already wrote a couple of things here. So if you can hear me, just say yes, I can hear you, and we're good to go. So I'm looking forward to that. So I see many of you coming on board today for today's workshop. And hi. Okay, we're good. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me and everything is great. Well, I really appreciate the fact that you are here. It means a lot to me that we can hang out like this from time to time, and that I can serve your needs better and better. And it's always really important for me and for the team here to know what is it that you're asking for, what is it that you need more of, what can be very helpful to you, because it's really important for us that you succeed in using your silver techniques in life. And today's topic is what many of you were asking for, asking more about stress relief, about relaxation. And I find it really interesting because sometimes I think I take it for granted that these things already, because it's such a big part of my life and I practice these tools every day that I just don't stop to see the needs of people who are participating or following the Silva method and these workshops of mine. And I overlooked the fact or the idea that stress is still a very huge topic for a lot of people. And I can certainly understand that. And I'm really happy that we can share these tools today. So we have a lot of information to cover. It may not seem like a lot in the beginning, but there is a lot of information to cover on this topic area. So I'm going to go back and forth, with the PowerPoint, and then once in a while you'll see my face as well, but you'll see the PowerPoint, and I'll be explaining and sharing some of my thoughts with you. And then we're going to go through the process of going through mental exercises. One will be the stress transformation exercise, and the other one is going to be more like informing the inner child. It's really important that we understand what is at the very core of stress, because when we get it, then you manage it. It's very manageable and it's very workable. It's very doable. Early this morning, I like to go see a medicine chiropractor or a medical chiropractor, because I work out, and I like to still do my 5 miles a day, 5 days a week, pretty much. And I work with my weights and see my weights. So I like to exercise, and ever so often you have a little tenderness, or maybe you overdid it, or maybe you did something wrong, when I'm doing some of my squats or lunges, or be what it means, pull-ups or whatever. And we were having a conversation about what I was going to do today for you all, and about talking about stress relief. And this is, of course, a sports medicine doctor. And he has a civil life system program, and is just beginning to learn about stress management. He's very clever. He's very good. He's a natural. He practices a lot of these things already, but he's more about manipulating the body than he is about working from the inside out. And so now he's very keen on this, and we're having conversations about Thanksgiving holiday coming up, and the holidays in general. And I thought, yeah, it's a great opportunity to practice your stress management, especially when you come across a lot of people like we all have in our home, of family members, friends, just extended relatives, and the house is just full of people and lots of gas and things of that nature. And I find that, just kind of rushing through all the things that need to get done can be quite stressful for a lot of people. Any holidays, any special event, any kind of situation like that can be very stressful. So we really want to be able to have all these tools, right, fresh in our minds, so that we can really practice them and work through them. But this Nick is the doctor's name. He was sharing how he has some challenges with some kind of challenging family members. And I think we all probably have one or two of those in our families as well, and talking about how to manage it more effectively this time around. And we talked about how all stress has a very deep foundation in emotions. And we'll talk about this during today's workshop, and how he really needs to pull himself out of the interaction itself, especially with those challenging family members, to see what's the role I'm playing in this. Because a lot of times we get so stuck in this cycle of how we relate to others. We say something, they get upset, they say something, it triggers something in you. And trigger is probably a word that I want you to pay close attention to. And so it goes back and forth and back and forth. But if you can pull away from what's happening in the relationship and the interaction with your loved ones, or with anybody for that matter, then you can observe your role, and you can observe how anything we say or do can potentially create a certain outcome. And if you like that outcome, fine. But if you don't like that outcome, then you need to step in and change something about how you react or relate or respond to that person. Because when you change the response or the interaction itself, it's going to change the outcome that you're creating. So I'm saying that, and I'll remind you later as we're going through the workshop today, because when you are in situations like, when people come together and family members come together, it's beautiful, yes, but some family members can be a little bit challenging, and I understand that. I come from a family of 10, and there's a lot of grandchildren, a lot of nephews and nieces. There's a lot of all kinds of stuff, and my house is going to be full. All bedrooms will be full, and catering to everyone's needs. It's going to be kind of a fun thing to kind of juggle around. So, anyways. Let's keep an open mind, and let me know what you need specifically, if anything. Hi, Irina, and let me know what you need specifically as we're going through, and just let me know through the live chat, okay? So I'm going to be sharing my window with you, and the PowerPoint, so we can get this baby on the road, or this ball rolling. All right, good. So give me a chance just to share this up here. Where am I? Right there. All right, so this is the PowerPoint. I hope you can see it okay. Of course, we're talking about effectual relaxation and stress relief. I use that title, effectual relaxation, because for me it was really important that I presented tools for you that were very effective, and that you come at the end of the program that you'll be able to understand why you feel stressed when you do feel stressed, and what that really does mean to you. So why is it important, to manage stress effectively? We know that the stress can affect the immune system, and I think that's going to be one of the most important things that we want to focus on. It's said that 80 to 90% of all health challenges are stress related. Okay, but why? Let's understand why. What is going on when we're experiencing stress? Because the immune system is the body's form of defense, and it's comprised of organs, tissues, cells, and cell products that all work together to fight any kind of outside harmful substance, bacteria, pathogens, that can cause some kind of infection or disease. Now, there are two main ways that stress has a direct negative effect on the immune system. And again, we want to work with stress because, yes, it affects our health, but it also is going to affect all other aspects of our life. And those two ways, one is that it creates chronic inflammatory conditions in your body, and that's not good. And two, it lowers the immunity of those who otherwise might have a healthy immune system. According to Dr. Mary Mager, people exposed to chronic social conflict experience high levels of stress and consequent dysregulation of the immune system, thereby increasing vulnerability to infectious and autoimmune disease. When long-term stress becomes chronic, it's ongoing, many systems in the body are affected. And you probably have experienced chronic stress from time to time, or in different periods of your life, and you can pretty much understand that. I think we all can understand that, because chronic stress results in high levels of cortisol and other corticosteroids that circulate in the blood for long periods of time. And while there are few side effects from short-term exposure to these hormones, over the long term, physical damage may occur. Now, We all experience stress, and we know that, and we almost need to experience some level of stress to get through our days, and we'll talk more about that. But when it's ongoing and it just doesn't stop, and there's many reasons why stress can be ongoing, then it's not going to be good for you. You really need to learn how to manage it effectively in order to stay healthy, to stay strong, and to be able to to move forward in a very positive way. And so when we're looking at stress in this way, we know that people who suffer from chronic or long-term stress can experience symptoms like anxiety, depression, sleep problems. Sound familiar? Physically, they can have high blood pressure, heart disease, and digestive problems as well. And another danger, obviously, is that you can then have a weakened immune system, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. Um, Cortisol suppresses inflammation during a response to stress. If it's present in the blood for long periods of time, then the body develops a resistance to cortisol and it doesn't respond to it properly. Instead, it ramps up production of a substance that actually promotes inflammation, leading to a state of chronic inflammation. And that's why one reason only why we need to really manage our stress effectively. These pro-inflammation substances called cytokines are associated with a host of chronic inflammatory and autoimmune conditions. Autoimmune conditions occur when the body basically mistakes itself as a threat and attacks itself. Some examples would be like fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And other chronic conditions, it can include things like diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. I mean, there's a whole host of problematic situations that can and will result when you're under a lot of stress. I may have shared this story with you some time ago with my daughter having undergone some challenges with, her father's health, who he passed away this year earlier. And she was really taking it very, very hard. And she was under a lot of stress day in and day out, caring for him and taking care of him. And she started to become very filled with pain and in her body, aches and pains everywhere. She started to get panic attacks. She started to get high blood pressure. I mean, it's one thing after another. And although, as I have shared with you, she has all these tools. She's had them since she was a little girl. She was still struggling with this because she was in the experience that was very stressful in caring for her dad. Anyways, making a long story short, it came to a point where I just told her, you've got to make a decision right now. Are you going to surrender to all these aches and pains and conditions, or are you going to do something about it? You're in charge of your body. You're in charge of your health. You're in charge of your conditions. But if you surrender to this and you don't do anything about the cause, it's going to get worse. You need to be able to take charge of your life once again. And it was all about stress management techniques. And so she did. She managed to overcome it, and she got herself back into perfect health, and she's back to normal in every way. But chronic stress, it's a hard thing. It also results in lower amounts of a protein that is critical to signaling other immune cells. Without these reinforcements, the body's susceptible to contacting acute illnesses and prolonged healing times. It takes a lot longer to heal when you're under a lot of stress. So, you have here it lowers your immunity, but there's also prolonged healing time. And the lymphocytes are a major component of the immune system. They kill invading organisms that would cause disease, and they recognize harmful substances and help defend against them. Now, cortisol and corticosteroids suppress lymphocytes. With a lowered number of lymphocytes, the body is at increased risk of infection disease. So it's a complicated physiological situation, and stress has a huge role to play in all illnesses. I mean, you name it, if you're under a lot of stress, you are more susceptible to all illness, and you're at risk of infection disease. The idea that psychological stress can make us more vulnerable to illness was really by quite a coincidence proven by a much younger, very eager, somewhat clumsy, it said, psychologist back in the 30s, Hans Selye. I'm sure you've heard of Hans Selye. He's an Austrian-born endocrinologist that was working in Canada. And he was trying to prove that he discovered a new hormone by injecting lab rats daily with an ovarian extract. Well, the story goes on to say that Cellier was an inexperienced technician and often dropped the rats he was working with during these experiments and had to chase them around the floor with a broom in order to catch and then successfully inject them. Well, a few months go by, and he noticed that the rats developed peptic ulcers and swollen adrenal glands, and Cellier was convinced that he had discovered a new hormone. Just to be sure, as any good researcher would do, he ran control groups on more rats, injecting them with a plain saline solution. Well, the result was that the control rats also developed the exact same symptoms. Well, this young scientist, Hans Selye, was forced to conclude that it was the stress of his sloppy laboratory or, lab site manners that caused the rat's maladies. Selye had failed to discover a new hormone, but succeeded improving a relationship between stress and physical disease. He went on to write about maybe 1,500, 1,700 papers and 33 books on the subject of stress. Today, the late Hans Selye is known as the father of the stress field. And you've probably read some of his books, and they're quite good. As they were way back then, they're still good today because what he discovered is very true. Well, thankfully for most of us, we'd never have to be chased around by giant hands attempting to stick us with sharp needles. But, when you think about it, we'll go through really hard breakups in our lives, moving days, bad weeks at the office, arguments with our family members or loved ones. And these stressful events actually make humans more likely to contract a disease. I mean, it's not odd or unheard of to hear people under a lot of stress to get colds more often, or aches and pains in their body, or have sleepless nights. I mean, we can all relate to that. They hinder our recovery from hard-hitting illnesses like heart disease and cancer as well. And they slow, as I said earlier, the healing of wounds. So there's so much research on stress and immunity that it has its own field called psychoneuroimmunology. And this is a real, very, very big topic. It comes complete with specialized journals and textbooks and ways of how to work with psychoneuroimmunology. The late Dr. Carl Simonton, an oncologist, was a Silva graduate, and he utilized some of the Silva tools and techniques to help his patients to become more calm, to use imagery, to be able to work with imagery and overcoming or bettering the cancer or their attitude in life or their outlook of life or their disposition to the quality of life. So all these things, are things that we can consider and look into. I know the topic is stress, but the reason I'm going off on the immune system is because I really want you to understand that it's really important that we manage our stress effectively. It's tied into everything else in our life. According to Suzanne Segerstorm, some kinds of stress, like very short term, that last only a matter of minutes, actually redistribute cells in the bloodstream in a way that could be helpful. But once stress starts to last a matter of days, there are changes in the immune system that are not so helpful. And the longer that stress lasts, she says, the more potentially harmful those changes are. Now, the fight or flight response, which is a short-term stress, goes something like this. Okay, we're going to talk about the fight or flight response in a few moments. Let's say, as an example, when a villager in Africa sees a lion charging at him, the brain sends a signal to the adrenal gland to create hormones called cortisol and adrenaline, which have many different effects on the body, from increasing the heart rate and breathing to dilating blood vessels so that the blood can flow quickly to the muscles in the legs, besides helping that person or help him or her run away. This type of acute stress also boosts the immune response for 3 to 5 days, presumably to help him or her recover after the lion has maybe taken a swipe at him. So it goes on for a few days after the incident or the event. Well, so when humans experience stress, our bodies react in the very same way that animals' bodies do. Once the line is gone, a zebra or a gazelle stress level will return to normal. But humans have trouble getting back to our routines after a stressful event. Why would you think that? I mean, let's say, whether it's a car accident or a divorce or a big argument or whatever it might be, we'll think about it over and over again. We replay it in our minds, we ruminate on it, we dream about it, and we worry about it for a long time. And that sets us up for long term problems. So, our inability to handle those stressful situations is literally hurting us. Over time, continually activating the stress response may interfere with the immune system. And how this affects your disease risk depends partly on your risk factors and your lifestyle, including your degree of social support. Now, it's really important that when you're under a lot of stress to have some kind of support system to boost you, to have maybe a shoulder to cry on, someone who can give you a nice hug or warm embrace, whatever. Because stress also contributes to premature aging as well, believe it or not. So who needs that? Maybe that's why I look so young, because I meditate a lot. I like to meditate. I'm constantly working on managing stress because I, believe it or not, also get into stressful situations. I mean, we create them, we live them, we attract them. They come our way whether we want to or not, and sometimes we set ourselves up for stressful events. And so, yes, we all need to work with our tools to manage our stress effectively. So I was talking about premature aging. The stress involved with caring for a loved one with dementia, for example, is very well documented. And I could see that with my daughters caring for their father who had a brain tumor, and it was really slowly but surely, and just was just not a good disease to have. So according to the National Alzheimer's Association, 80% of caregivers report suffering high levels of stress, and nearly half suffer from depression. So not only do you have high levels of stress, and then stress causes the weakening of your immune system or infections to set in or disease to occur, but it also can lead to depression. And I mean, I know we can relate to. I could see that in my daughter. I could see what was going on with her. One of them was handling it very, very harshly, and it was really affecting her personally. Where the other one, because of her attitude and her disposition, handled it totally different, and it didn't seem to affect her in nearly the same way it affected the other one. And as a result, caregivers have become popular subjects for studies involving stress and the immune system. An analysis of caregivers found that people caring for spouses with Alzheimer's disease showed a marked overproduction of an immune factor called what they call, and don't ask me all these questions about what is IL-6, but that's what it's called, which is normally involved in the immune response to injury. A rise in IL-6 is associated with many age-related conditions, including cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, arthritis, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and mental decline. So you begin to see that there's a real huge reason why we must manage our stress effectively, and how it really does have its foot in everything you do. Like I said before, just a little earlier, in this area right here, it prolongs healing of wounds. So stress also affects wound healing. In another study with dental students, which I thought was kind of interesting, they had volunteer dental students, and these students were to receive small cuts on the roofs of their mouths on 2 occasions. Once during summer break, and then again 6 weeks later during exams. I think you know where this study has gone, right? Or where it's going. The students' wounds took 40% longer to heal when they were under the stress of exams. No surprise, right? 40%. That's huge. And you're talking about just a little small cut on the roof, in the roof of the mouth. Now, in addition, the students' levels of a protein called IL-1, which summons other immune cells to battle, were found to be 2/3 lower. So it means they had no defenses in them when students were in exams than in the summer. So again, stress will really play a huge factor in your healing ability. So we need to always keep stress managed. A similar study found that marital discord was also associated with the healing of wounds. In a study published in the Archives of General Psychiatry, couples whose behavior was rated as hostile toward each other had a wound healing rate that was 60% of the rate of couples with gentler relations. 60% is huge. In addition, a number of vaccine studies have also found that the immune system of highly stressed individuals has sluggish responses to challenges. In one study published in the Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine, a pneumonia vaccine was administered to 52 older adults, including 11 people caring for spouses with dementia. After just 6 months, the levels of antibodies produced against pneumonia in the caregivers had dropped off, while the non-caregivers' levels remain stable. So even if you are wanting to have, to care for you and have some good, maybe take your vaccinations and your medications and all that, if you're under a lot of stress, they're not going to be as effective as when you're comfortable or calm or you manage your stress effectively. A similar study in which 32 caregivers were given the flu shot also found that caregivers received less protection from the vaccine than did a control group of non-caregivers. Interesting, don't you think? You think, oh, that's okay. I already took my vaccines. I have my flu shot. I've already taken my medications. I'm doing all this stuff. But if you're under a lot of stress, it's not going to be as effective, right? So in a nutshell, if you're stressed out, you're more likely to get sick. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine actually found that higher psychological stress levels resulted in a higher likelihood of catching the common cold, as I just mentioned. I don't think we need a big research to prove that. For many variables, including the season, overuse of alcohol, bad quality of diet, maybe no exercise, poor sleep, and levels of antibodies before exposure to the virus, and concluded that higher stress was to blame for lowered immunity and higher infection rates. I mean, I don't know what else we can say. And I know it's no mystery to you. I mean, I want to say, why is it important to overcome stress? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. And then there's stress and cancer. That's a whole other topic, I guess, but it's all related. The relationship between stress and cancer has been the subject of much research. Studies have shown time and again that stress can adversely affect components of the immune system involved in fighting diseases like cancer. The number of natural killer, or what they call NK cells, cells that kill undesirable like bacteria and cancer cells, has been found to be lower among people who are suffering from chronic stress. A number of studies have indicated that group counseling and stress management techniques, including meditation, offered to people who have already been diagnosed with cancer, would help boost their immune system. So again, I know I'm singing to the choir here. I know you guys know this. And so we just want to make sure that you're fully convinced that you're going to do everything on your part to manage your stress effectively on an ongoing basis as it appears, as it's being triggered. And we'll talk about that. A study of 103 women with metastatic breast cancer examined how much support from family and friends the women had to help them deal with their diagnosis and treatment. The study, published in the Journal of Psychosomatic Medicine in 2000, found that women who had greater social support displayed lower levels of cortisol in their saliva than the women who had less support. Lower levels of cortisol indicate a healthier immune system functioning. So I'm hoping that we all have a good, strong support group that can really encourage us and help us along the way. I, for one, am very fortunate. I mean, I have a wonderful support system, a wonderful family, friends. My husband is amazing. And it's just wonderful to have this. Oh, Mary, stressed out, that's me right now. Okay, well, let me know why or how you're stressed out. And let me make sure that I answer all of your questions and give you exactly the tools you need to overcome this, okay? So I'll be looking out for you, Mary, okay? Now, and then there are some other conditions here when it comes to stress. Again, stress acts on the body through the immune system. And in recent years, researchers have been learning that chronic inflammation The immune system's response to injury or irritation may be involved in everything from heart disease and diabetes to Alzheimer's and other dementia. So indirectly, a stress-related imbalance in the immune system may have a wider ranging effect than originally suspected. Many studies show that stress can impact different facets of the immune system. There is enough evidence now to indicate that we need to find healthy ways to keep our stress levels down, like eating right, especially during this time of the year, exercising. And that's a question my doctor asked this morning. What do you do? Because he's a real avid, he exercises very, very avidly. He says, what do you do for exercising during the holidays? And I said, well, I squat a lot because I'm picking up things off the floor. I'm on my feet all day. I don't sit for anything. I really am walking through things at maybe twice the pace I usually walk. I mean, I'm always busy. I'm stirring, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm wiping, I'm sweeping, I'm mopping. I said, so I think I'm going to get plenty of exercise without going out on a jog. So I think that's going to help me anyways. One thing for sure with me, every holiday season, I reduce about maybe 7 to 10 pounds. And so, it's not a bad thing, but it happens. Let me see. Alexandra, happened to me 7 months ago. Broken neck replaced with plastic one and bones disappearing due to stress. Isn't that something? Thanks for sharing that. So actually, my oldest brother, who's in his mid to late 70s now, Joe, his name is Joe. He fell a few years ago. He just wanted to get a checkup, because he was feeling a little bit, his daughter's a nurse and she wanted him to get a checkup at the hospital. And when he got up to go to the bathroom, he slipped and he broke his neck. He was paralyzed. I saw him in the grocery store this morning shopping for groceries. I mean, he's walking, he's driving, he's a real miracle guy, but he never once surrendered to the diagnosis. He was told the worst case scenario and he said, no, not for me. I'm going to be just fine. And he just kept working on it day in and day out. And he taught his body how to move again. He taught his body how to hold this fork and knife and how to walk again. And he's just an amazing miracle man. And I think, when you're really firm on what you want to achieve as an outcome, and he has metal plates in his neck and they say he'd never be able to turn his neck. And he is kind of, turning his neck, maybe not in full range as he used to, but he'll turn to talk to you. And, he looked great this morning when I saw him at the grocery store. Last minute shopping kind of thing. So anyways, but we'll keep talking to each other. Okay. Alexandra, I know it's a terrible condition an experience that you've gone through, but you've got to kick it up a few notches, kick up your courage, kick up the practice, kick up the imagery, make sure that you're right in there. Bill asks, what is the best way to handle the stress of crowded supermarkets the day before Thanksgiving? You take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the people around you and smile a lot. That's and Alexandra says that she also got the worst diagnosis, but she also is doing everything she knows in her power to make things better. And I believe that. Okay, let me go on because I want to share some tools with you, okay? A lot of studies as we've already talked about, has showed that stress can impact different facets of the immune system. And there's a lot of evidence to indicate that we need to find these healthy ways, okay, of managing our stress effectively. David Spiegel, a doctor and psychiatrist and researcher at Stanford University, says that stress is inevitable. And we know that. Sometimes life, throws things at us. And you've always heard me be one to say, what did I do to create this, or allow it to happen? Sometimes I don't necessarily create adversary things or uncomfortable things or stressful events, but I allow them to happen. Maybe because I didn't step up to the plate. Maybe because I didn't respond appropriately. Maybe because I was complacent. Maybe because whatever. And we'll talk more about that. But he says stress is inevitable. The trick is to learn to manage it and to find some aspect of our stress and do something about it. And that's what you guys are here doing. You're doing something about it. And I'm really pleased to know that you're here to do that. So recently, and as I keep holding these two slides up here because you can see how physically, it's going to cause you to get forgetful or to have trouble sleeping, headaches, digestive disorders, low tolerance to pain, weak immune system. Of course, we're already talked about it slows down the healing process as well. Emotionally, we tend to get more irritable and angry, restless, anxious. We feel overwhelmed, we lack motivation. We can get sad and depressed. And all these things are things that really make a difference in our life and the quality of our life and living. And then again, we have behaviors. There are also behaviors that are going to be affected when we get caught up in the stress cycle, it's kind of like an addictive cycle. If you've noticed, you have an emotional trigger, and we're going to talk about that. Then you have some kind of a craving, and then you're going to have some kind of a routine or a ritual. Then you're going to start using, and then you feel bad about it. And here we go again, But some of the behaviors that are also influenced with when we're under chronic stress or a lot of stress, like going to the grocery store, as I did this morning. That's why I went really early this morning, and they had just opened, and yet there's a lot of people already shopping. But we tend to over drink many times. We maybe have excessive drug use, and it can be even over the counter drugs, like for aches or pains or for sleeping at night or to get energized or whatever it might be. I mean, people who smoke tend to maybe smoke a little bit more, or we drink a lot more coffee to keep ourselves going. And so these are things that, anything in excess is not going to be good for you. Again, some people will overeat. I tend to undereat during the holidays because I'm cooking so much. I mean, I do 90% of the cooking, and which I love to cook, and I'm really good at it. You should taste my turkey. It is the best. Anyway, but I tend to undereat. People might get into angry outbursts or maybe reactive outbursts instead of responsive outbursts. Some people get withdraw socially, and many times people just exercise less. They're just too overwhelmed and tired and exhausted, and they just don't have the same kind of energy to go out and work out. Recently, an American Psychological Association commissioned a report on stress in America, reported that 48% of Americans consider stress to be having a negative impact on their lives. And over 70% of Americans report that they regularly experience physical and psychological symptoms of stress. That's not surprising, I know. But despite the amount of research done on the importance of managing stress, guess what? Only 17% of Americans who have significant stress say that they're doing a very good job at managing it. That's not very much, is it? So why aren't we better at managing stress? Because we aren't targeting the right problem. A lot of times when people have or experience stress, they tell their family or their friends, the quick response is, oh, just relax, oh, take a deep breath, oh, just, sit down, rest. That's not the answer. It's a good Band-Aid. It's a good temporary fix, but it's not the answer. We use the word stress as a catch-all phrase to describe a general sense of feeling overwhelmed in most cases. I mean, that's what we go through. I mean, when you feel a lot of stress, you're overwhelmed. But in order to really begin to break down the problem of stress, we need to get more specific and call it what it really is. And what it is, they're distressing emotions. At the core of all your stress is going to be emotions. And these emotions come in many varieties. So we'll discuss that in a few moments. Your stress and the related problems that come with it, it all comes from deeply rooted emotional memories or experiences that are being ignored, denied, misunderstood, or suppressed, or just poorly handled. And your distressing emotions, and we'll talk about a lot of them. I mean, some of the distressing emotions that you might hear a lot of people talk about are like shame, guilt, fear, anger. I mean, things like that. Okay, fine. But at the very core of those emotions is something else, the core experiences that we're going to be discussing here. So going back to some of the root of your most common issues, including overeating and chronic relationships, conflict with relationship conflicts, or money issues, or money mismanagement, or substance abuse, and even poor physical health, it's going to be rooted at the emotional level. That's why it's so important to understand and manage stress effectively, because we need to be able to find ways to be able to work with this more in a much better way. Now, stress relieving strategies that you have already are going to be things like fractional relaxation, projection to a tranquil and passive scene, things like that are going to be like your ideal place of relaxation, countdown deepening exercises, deep breathing, 1 minute meditations, or purposeful daydreaming. So I want us to talk a little bit about this. Let me go here. Just bear with me a little bit. There. I want us to talk a little bit about this because I think it's really important that we understand some of the things that we already have handy with us and that we can work with. When we talk about fractional relaxation, you learn how to do this during your long relaxation exercise. That's also called a centering exercise. The fractional relaxation is when you just relax your body from head to toes. That's why practicing the centering exercise is really good, because your body learns how to get into a deep state of physical relaxation and a deep state of mental relaxation. So when your body learns to do that, and you do it like part at a time, just start with the scalp and then the forehead, then the eyelids and the tissue surrounding your eyes, then the muscles in your cheek. I always tell you, smile, because when you smile, if you're like this, a smile softens all your facial features and relaxes the muscles. And it's a good thing to do in meditation, to smile. Then you relax your tongue and your jaw, your throat, externally and internally, your spine all the way down, just relax your spine and your back, and if you do this, just fractional relaxation several times during the week, your body will memorize this behavior and learn to do that almost by itself. You relax your shoulders, arms, and hands. Take a deep breath and relax your chest externally and internally. When I say relax your chest internally, you're to use your imagination to relax any organ that comes to mind or that needs a little bit extra help, a little extra relaxation, if it's your heart or your lungs or whatever it might be. And then again, relax your abdominal area and your pelvic area externally and internally. I mean, I think even me just saying this along the way, I believe you're getting some kind of a relaxation response by just me talking about it. So when you're using fractional relaxation all the way down to your toes, it's a really great thing to practice, because then your body can memorize it and own it. It knows so well how it feels. And then by just simply desiring that type of relaxation, you can just simply take a deep breath and go there. Remember, that's why I always ask you, make a point of reference after you have gone through fractional relaxation to remember how to recreate that experience on the spot. And then you have your projection to a tranquil and passive scene. Now, that place that you create in your mind of where you go that makes you feel tranquil and passive. I go to a field much like in the picture that you saw earlier. I'll show it to you again, where I'm laying in the field. There's multicolored flowers around me. The sky is filled with beautiful clouds, and I can just breathe deeply and relax on the soft grass. And the weather or the temperature is cool. And sometimes, I'll be close to a little creek or a babbling brook, and I can hear the water flowing and a little waterfall that's close by. And I mean, these are just all very soothing, relaxing sounds and feelings that you can even imagine and create that becomes a memory for you. So I often, when I find myself being in a really stressful situation right there on the spot, I will very often just simply close my eyes, take a deep breath, and then just go to that tranquil and passive scene. And then I'm just there for a few moments. I might be standing and I'm just feeling really overwhelmed, and I'll just stop, close my eyes, pause, and go there. Then just breathe and just be there. You might want to do that with me right now. Imagine your ideal place of relaxation, not so much the ideal place of relaxation, I'll explain why, but your tranquil and passive scene. As when we say take a deep breath and say choo, 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 relax your mind, then you go to your tranquil and passive scene. Just close your eyes and go there. Notice the difference between when I'm talking to you and you have your eyes open and how it feels when you go to your tranquil and passive scene for just even 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Just go there. Do it now. That's 5 seconds. Okay, open your eyes. That was 10 seconds. Of course, you have 10 seconds throughout the day, several times during the day. And anytime that you need to turn chaos into flow, this is what you're going to do. Now, you also have projection to your ideal place of relaxation. That's a little bit different because your ideal place of relaxation is a real place. And we have many reasons why we ask you to go to that real place, but it's also the most relaxing place that you go to physically relax. I go to my bed. Anytime I need to, my bed is my most relaxing place. I think you've heard me mention before that my husband and I invested a lot of time and energy in making sure that our room was just so conducive for sleep. The bed mattress is perfect for us. The pillows are ideal. The curtains shut, I mean, to darkness, and it's just so perfect. I love to go there. I have my little my throw blanket that I cover myself with that I like so much, and it's so soft. And if I need to go to anywhere that I physically relax in the real world, basically real world, I go there. So that's your ideal place of relaxation. And when we're doing the training in Civil Life System, we ask you to go to your ideal place of relaxation. It is the beginning of how you begin to do what we call mental projection. Because in order to go there, you need to project yourself mentally to that place. And mental projection allows you to experience a point or place with your mind, and you can also perceive information with your mind that is around there, and that's the beginning of what of how we develop intuition. So it has many reasons why we do that, but it's also a great place to go to simply turn chaos into flow, or to calm yourself, or to relax yourself. And these are built into your meditations. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time already. They're already there. And I think here we have Mary says, I never thought of going to my comfy bed. I tell you, if that's your comfy bed and you call it a comfy bed, I would say that's your ideal place of relaxation. Some people have a really nice, comfortable, like lazy boy chair that they love to go and relax in. That works, wherever it is that you go mentally when you project yourself to your ideal place of relaxation. Now, the other thing too is that you have countdown deepening exercises. Sometimes by simply counting from 10 to 1, is enough to calm yourself in a stressful situation. Even 5 to 1, whatever works for you, depending on how much time you have. If I just close my eyes, if I'm really stressed or overwhelmed, I just count 10, 9, and just say relax, go deeper. 8, 7, more relaxed. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. You'll be more calm. You'll definitely be more calm. And it's an effective way to manage stress as it comes, or that short-term stress or momentary stress in that manner. It's easy to get to. It's very effective. And deep breathing, obviously, is also going to be another way. So deep belly breaths always. So if you're at the store going through all this, rush shopping at this point in time, then you might want to just remember to breathe deeply, keep a semi-smile on your face, just because that also triggers certain kind of points in you that help you to remember to stay positive, to stay focused, keep your posture erect, as you're going through the different lanes at the grocery store, maybe running into friends. So where I live here in Laredo, Texas, it's a big city. It's growing a lot, but we still know each other. A lot of us know each other. We run to the store, and then there's like conversations going on. You almost want to go around people so as not to hold you back from what you're doing. But I always run into people I know. But keeping a smile, saying happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays or happy whatever, keeping your posture erect and breathing deeply, belly breathing as you're going through the experience is going to help you to manage your stress levels very, very nicely. And of course, you can always pause for little 1-minute meditations. We've done that before with civil manifesting, where you just kind of calm yourself, go within, connect to your surrounding, notice your breathing. Just stay there, feel your connection to all else around you, your chair, the room, how your body makes connection to the chair or bed, feel your clothing. Just bring mindfulness into the experience for 1 minute. And that's going to help you to manage your stress effectively. And there's always purposeful daydreaming, where you can literally just close your eyes and daydream about something that makes you feel good, something positive, the last wonderful memory you had, something that made you laugh, maybe a loving, very touching moment, maybe just just a feeling of love that fills you when you think about your partner, your husband, wife, whatever, just how it makes you feel so special and wonderful. Just the last soft, loving kiss you had with someone. Anything like that is going to make you feel better and happy. And I didn't put it on the list, but gratitude. Focus on gratitude and all the things you have to be grateful for instead of what all the things you're not happy about. Just focus, on things to be grateful for. Yeah, I feel a little stressed, like I told you in the email, like, we're fixing actually 3 turkeys now, not 2, so 3, go figure. But yes, that kind of situation, I think but how wonderful. I think like, oh, I got all this to do and I've got like 8 side dishes I'm doing, and I don't have to worry about the pastries because my sister-in-law is going to do that. Another sister-in-law is bringing the salads, but I still got the gravy, the cooking, the this, that, all kinds of other stuff. My head's like racing. I'm up at 5 in the morning, like, yes, and I'm thinking, but how wonderful. We're going to have family come together. I'm going to get to see my granddaughters, and 2 of my children will be here. And I just found out yesterday that I'm off to Spain to go see my other daughter who lives in Madrid, who's the flamenco dancer. She's a professional flamenco dancer. I've talked about her also. And I'm going to be able to spend a week with her, in mid-December. I get back on the 19th, but it's okay. I already did most of my shopping, Christmas shopping. I'm good to go. We have a list that's this long. I mean, super long list of people we give gifts to, because my husband loves to give gifts, but I'm the one that has to go get them. So it's fun, because then I say, okay, one for them and one for me. So that's the price of sending me shopping. But anyways, all that being said, gratitude is also a really important thing to do during, especially these days of in this case, Thanksgiving or the holidays. Really remember what we're here, our purpose in living, the ability to even be alive, to be able to live on this planet, to walk on this earth, to breathe this air, to see the trees and connect with nature, and to be able to feel love and make love, and to be able to embrace and and greet, your loved ones. I mean, just all the things that we're so grateful for. And that's going to be pretty fun. So these are all really great ways of being able to our stress as it's appearing. But I still call these more like Band-Aid remedies or Band-Aid strategies, because it still doesn't approach the root cause of why we're experiencing the stress to begin with. So again, I have this little tranquil and passive scene there because I really do want us to focus on that. These are just a lot of the things that you can do. I mean, if even like we just right now did a 10 to 1 countdown, or we went to that tranquil and passive scene, you can right away experience the benefits of that. So I just want you to remind you of all these different reasons, or all these different strategies that you already have, and they're built in to your meditations, and especially the long relaxation or the centering exercise. Same exercise. two different names. But anyways, you built in that you have all these different things here. Maybe not the 1 minute meditation, purposeful daydream, but those are strategies anyway. You have everything else in there. So it's good to practice and remind yourself to make points of reference of how it feels to be physically relaxed, how it feels to be mentally relaxed. Mary asked, do we have so many things to be grateful for? And it helps to remind ourselves every day of these. And it's true. And gee, I mean, like really, we all have things that come our way. We all have challenges in life, and we all have our ups and our downs. That's life, that's what life is. But how wonderful to have tools to work through these things, and still, even when you're having challenges with others and maybe have problems in some of your relationships, at least you're relating. You have someone to relate to. You have emotions to feel. You have a way to manage those emotions effectively. And we're going to talk more about that. Now, when it comes to stress, and I'm going to go back and share the PowerPoint with you. I just wanted us to have a few moments of face-to-face kind of thing, just to let you know that I'm still here. But let me here's my screen again. So that one, let me choose that. Okay, there. So when we're looking at stress, we want to make sure that we understand a little bit more of what's in there. Okay, when we talk about stress here, we're talking about stress and a reaction that we have to stress. Now, when we experience stress, there's going to be two kinds of stress pretty much. You're going to have your very positive stress, the kind of stress that is going to make you feel excited, like before a wedding or a big party, and it makes you feel, really good, and that stress is okay. I mean, if you're experiencing what's called eustress or eustress, people say it's eustress or eustress, however, but when you experience positive kind of stress, it's not as damaging, unless, of course, you're going to experience it for the long haul. It can also have negative effects on you. But typically, that's the kind of stress that motivates us, excites us, and makes us feel good. Now, we all know that we experience stress day in and day out, and stress is not necessarily a bad thing. It's only bad when you can't manage it effectively. And that's what we want to focus on. There's the good stress, as I just mentioned. And of course, there is the bad stress, also known as distress. The good stress motivates you and mobilizes and energizes you, whereas the bad stress can even paralyze you, for that matter. It stifles your functioning and your thinking, makes you have that kind of so-called foggy thinking. And so obviously we want to focus more on how to manage the so-called bad stress, okay? So every time you experience stress, you have a certain reaction to it. And that reaction to stress is pretty much based on how you think, believe, and behave, as well as your attitudes and your values and things, of course, like, your thinking process. Is it a positive one? Is it not a positive? Whatever. All these things are going to be are going to fuel your reaction to whatever's happening around you. The goal we want to achieve is to convert the reaction to stress into a response, allowing you to respond with ability to all stressful circumstances that may come your way. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Now, when you respond with ability, you're acting responsibly. And when you learn to do this consistently, then you start managing stress more effectively, where you are in control of it and it is not in control of you. Stress, be mindful that your body and way of thinking undergo some changes. For example, the muscles in your body tend to tense. There's excess blood that flows to the muscles in your back, arms, and leg to get them ready to fight or flee, as we talked about in that African example earlier with the lion chasing you or chasing a person. Your breathing becomes shallow, your eyes narrow, your heart beats a little faster, you sweat, and again, your thinking gets foggy. And when this happens, it's likely that the fight or flight response has been triggered. It's also helpful to recognize where in your body you experience the first signs of stress. is this sort of like a nauseating feeling in your stomach. That's kind of what happens to me. I feel like a little cringe in the pit of my stomach. That's how I experience any kind of stress, basically. Sometimes maybe there's a weakening in your legs. I know that when I've been sometimes running, and I usually am listening to a meditation, or I'm listening to a lesson, or sometimes music. But I remember one time I was jogging, and I felt something at my heels, and when I turned, there was a pit bull who was chasing me. It was nipping at my heels, and oh my God, I ran so fast. And at the end, of course, because of all the chemistry that was rushing through my body, because I kick in the fight or flight, my legs got so weak. It was a very interesting feeling. Sometimes there's tightening in your chest or grinding of your teeth. So it's important to become aware of this, as to how you react to stress, how your body experiences stress. Because once you know how your body experiences, physically experiences stress, you're able to interrupt that pattern of reaction and then transform it into respond, and then respond more appropriately to the situation, to the stressful situation. Now, the fight or flight response is a response to perceived danger, whose sole purpose in our is meant for our survival. But we've survived. We've already survived as a race. It's still valuable to notice what for you is causing that fight or flight response to be triggered, because so many times we experience stress and trigger the response when we misplace our keys, or we're running late for an appointment, or we're stuck in traffic, or we can't control everything and everyone around us, or we have unfinished projects and deadlines. And while none of those things are dangerous or threatening to our survival, they do result in internal changes in our body that could potentially weaken our immune system. Now, most of the things that we get stressful about don't merit that response to be triggered. They just don't. Where are my keys? I can't find my keys. Oh my God, I'm going to be late. Where are my keys? Okay, just relax. The information will come to you. You'll locate them, and just calm down a little bit. Do your breathing. Pause for a moment. Just turn that chaos into flow. And you'll get to where you have to be at the time you have to be there. But these things don't merit us to trigger the fight or flight response and have all these things shift in our body and send chemistry out throughout our body. Is going to hurt us potentially through time. Studies say that the top two killers in our society are heart disease and cancer. Two diseases that are directly, as we've already talked, impacted by stress. Untamed emotions and the triggering of core experiences that lead to stress can and do cut short way too many lives. And we all have seen that. In addition, when stress sets in, there's usually some underlying reason that why we react to stress the way we do. These emotional factors are rooted in your childhood or in childhood core experiences, and they involve things like abandonment, rejection, and we'll talk more about that, lack of control, helplessness, and hopelessness. These are the things, the core experiences and emotions that trigger stress. And when we dig deeper, we'll find what are these core experiences and the thoughts associated with them fueling your reaction. Now, whenever you feel stressed, you need to ask yourself what's really causing the stress, because we too often say, well, I can't help it. That's just the way I am. And that's not true. A lot of people say, well, that's just the way I am. That's the way I react. And quite frankly, you can help it because you have the ability to be in full control of your reaction. So don't give that excuse like, well, that's just the way I am. I can't help it. Of course you can. You can help it, and you have to help it. You have to manage it. You have to control it. You're in charge of your life, of your experience, of your reactions, of what you think and do and believe and all that. You're in charge of everything. So who's actually in control of the situation? You, and that's it. So what we really want to look at whenever we experience anything that's stressful, we know that we are triggering. If it's being triggered, then it's something of your past. It's not something of your present or future. So the question I always ask, who's handling it, the stress experience? You in the now? Or is it a younger, less experienced, or even child you of the past who doesn't have the resources to handle the stressful situation. Because anything that's triggered has to do with your past. And you set off a core experience, and when you set off a core experience, you're literally evoking the younger, less resourceful you. And what results is a younger you handling the situation that is not equipped to do so. Now, some of the core experiences we're talking about, and one other thing too I want to point out here, if I haven't already, is that the fight or flight response, again, a response to perceived danger, it's meant to protect us and to help us survive. It's done its job. We have, billions of people now on the planet, growing in numbers all the time. And so we've survived. But that response, the fight or flight response, has evolved through time and is now become anger and fear. Now notice the fight part is the angry part and the flight part is the fear part. So they're not behaviors or actions like fighting and fleeing that are now at the root of stress. It's now emotions that are that's at the root of stress. So something in your emotional state and your emotional you is at the very core of 90% of all your health challenges and most challenges that you're experiencing associated with stress. That's what it is. It's emotional. That's why we want to make sure that we understand that. But even then, at the very core of the emotions, you have, at the very core of anger and fear are these core experiences. And these core experiences are abandonment, rejection. They need to control everything and everybody because we're control freaks, hopelessness and helplessness. Now, I know that we're about an hour into this. I want to give you an intermission around maybe at an hour and 15, an hour and 20, so that we can take a break a little bit and then do a meditation, okay? But these are the 5, I say, pretty much core experiences that will be triggered anytime we have that we are stuck in emotions, whether it's fear, anger, shame, guilt, whether it's, you name it, doesn't matter what it is. Any of those emotions are going to be associated in some way or another to anger and or fear. And anger and or fear is going to be, it's going to trigger any of these core emotions. And I want you to think about that for a little bit. I want you to start thinking about what maybe one of these old stressful experiences of the past. When you trigger abandonment, it leads to thoughts like, you're leaving me, or you're going away, I'm being left alone. And that's a kind of thinking that results from abandonment being triggered. When stress around you is triggering maybe rejection, that experience of core experience of rejection, the thoughts that are circulating in your head are things like, you don't want me, or they don't like me, or I'm not being accepted for who and how I am. When the stress is really, if you really ask yourself the questions, triggering control, because sometimes we want to control everything and everyone. We want things to be done my way. That's the way I want it, my way, kind of thing. And if they don't happen that way, they happen in a different way, the other person's way, it might cause stress in us because we can't control that. And that really leads us to getting upset and begin stomping and pouting in anger. And who acts like that? Think about it. Who's going to say, oh, didn't happen my way? And you start pounding or stomping like a little kid. And that's why you've just evoked a younger version of you, or a child you that's not equipped to handle a situation. If you stay focused on the now, from the now, the adult you says, okay, well, everyone has their own opinion, and okay, we'll see how this approach works out. I wish we do it in a different way, but that's fine. Let's move forward. You can rationalize it. You can accept it. You can work through it, but a child can't. Now, if you're feeling hopeless, then the thinking is, oh, there's no hope, or I can't do anything about it, or it'll never happen, or it's impossible, or there's no solution. That's the kind of thinking that hopelessness is going to trigger. Helplessness leads to thinking like, I can't do anything right. I'm not resourceful enough. I don't have the skill or knowledge to make it happen. I'm not smart enough. I'm helpless. I'm weak. And these core emotions are really at the very root of all stress. When a core emotion is experienced, we literally are connecting with the younger version of ourselves in the time when the experience was most prevalent. And when that happens, we instantaneously feel angry or afraid. And the emotions of anger and fear always lead to stress. So do note again that the fight or flight response has evolved alongside our race evolving, and what used to be fighting is now expressed as anger and emotion, and what used to be fleeing is now expressed as fear, another emotion. So emotions have replaced behaviors or actions. The real question that begs to be asked, or questions, are what are you reacting angrily towards, and what do you say you are afraid of? So what is it? I mean, what makes you angry? What makes you afraid? I mean, quite frankly, if I think about my life experiences, I don't never ever now, like I've worked on it a lot. I never ever now feel angry or afraid. It's just not part of what I do anymore. I used to a lot, but I had a lot of emotional issues I had to work through. And I believe I have done a good job at that. Because most of the time we react angrily towards things that don't really mean that much to us or affect us all that deeply. Like I said earlier, misplacing your keys, your car keys, or turning on the wrong corner. We also say we're afraid of things that we really aren't afraid of. Like, I'm afraid this recipe won't turn out right, or I'm afraid I'll be late. Really? Are you afraid that the recipe's not going to turn out right, or that you'll be late? I mean, does that really cause fear in you? Yet we say those words so easily, like, like we just throw them out without thinking or being mindful of what we're saying. Yet even those mental, or those little small words, those little mental thoughts and those little menial things, we can easily activate the fight or flight response and all those physiological functions that can literally hurt our bodies and weaken our immune system. So we've often heard that 80 to 90% of illnesses are stress related. It's really important to be mindful of stress as it sets in, then interrupt that pattern, get to the root cause, neutralize it, and move on into a more positive direction. By doing that, you're able to mindfully respond to stress. Okay, so it's going to be really important for us to mindfully respond to stress. And when you do that, you are responding with ability. That's called responsibility. Okay. Stress affects our overall living experience, as we've talked already plenty. Our ability to make good choices and decisions is also affected by stress. Our ability to problem solve, to be creative, to communicate effectively, to learn, and as we've already talked over and over, it can cause serious illness in our body because of the weakened immune system. When you become aware of stress setting in, take a couple of minutes to go through the simple exercise I'll be sharing with you that can help to manage your state effectively. This is called the stress transformation exercise, and it can be done on the spot the moment you feel angry, afraid, or stressful. Okay. Now, we'll do this exercise after the intermission, but I want to explain it to you a little bit. What we're going to do is first notice, we're going to bring to mind some kind of stressful experience. And when you bring something that happened to you recently, like maybe going to the grocery store, that can be, a little stressful sometimes, but just things that I really kind of like, just caused you to like, cringe or made you feel really angry. And mind you, we tend to be angry about things past, and the tendency is to be afraid of things future. Like, I'm afraid it's not going to happen. I'm afraid I might get sick. I'm afraid I'm going to go broke. I'm afraid that, whatever. So we think about things in the future have never happened. They have never, ever happened, but we still say, I'm afraid of something that's never even happened. So the potential possibility, that's bad thinking altogether. So we need to stop that. And anger is more of something that's happened. So when you bring to mind the last time you felt really, really stressful, then notice where, notice the moment you began to shift. First of all, bring mindfulness into the experience. You need to be really mindful of when your body goes from comfort and starts shifting towards stress. Because when you're mindful of that, you can certainly manage it right there on the spot. But if you're like not even aware of what's happening to you, it's not going to happen. But being mindful means a lot. So be mindful of when you begin to shift from comfort to stress. And the second thing then is to notice where in your body you experience the stress more evidently. Like I said, for me, it's like my stomach kind of like cringes, and I'm not surprised because digestion stops, and so that's probably a sign of digestion stopping to some degree, and it makes my stomach kind of cringe. But for me, that's a physiological sign that I've already shifted. Now, the next thing to do is right away is close your eyes. Because when you close your eyes, you're able to eliminate 80%, 85% of the external stimulus. And also it allows your brain frequency to slow down, because the only physical sense that requires high beta frequencies is the focused sense of sight. You don't need to focus your eyes when your eyes are closed, right? So then your frequency, your brain can slow down and calm you. Then you're going to pace your breathing. Deep belly breaths. And then when you pace your breathing, you're going to say to yourself, just relax and get in control. Take another deep breath if you need. And as you exhale, again, say relax and get in control. And then the third deep breath is to say, I am relaxed, I'm in control. And once you've done that and you're calm and you've paced your breathing, you have plenty of oxygen circulating your body, and all this feels okay, then you ask, what's being triggered? Is it helplessness, hopelessness? Is it control issues, abandonment, or rejection? So what's being triggered? I think a lot of people, in my experience, it's either going to be a rejection, they don't like me, I'm not accepted, I'm not good enough or whatever, or I can't control that person or the situation. It's out of my control, and it's really annoying. It really is very bothersome. So identify what core experience is being triggered, and recognize, and I'll guide you through the process, that's because it's being triggered. It's something of your past. We need to go to your past and resolve that issue, and we will today. But now you separate yourself from that past you, stay focused on the present, on you now, and be able to stay focused in the now. And from this position, then you create an ideal mental picture that you can step into, and then you can lock it in with your mental trigger mechanism. And that's going to be important. And I'll give you an example when, let's say, for example, let's say you're in a relationship, and I think I've used this before, you might have heard it in the program. You're in a relationship, and then let me stop presenting to everyone and go back to seeing you guys. And maybe, let's say I have a boyfriend or something like that, and he gives me a call, and he says, hey, how you doing? I say, I'm doing great, and I'm kind of fond of this person, kind of thing. And he says, are you going to be home today around 5 or so? I said, yeah, I'm going to be home. How come? And he says to me, well, we've got to talk. So right away, what are you thinking? And you're probably thinking, uh-oh, what? He probably wants to break up with me. I mean, I get this in every single one of my classes. The majority of people, you hear the whole room get, like, oh my God. I said, and I ask them, what are you thinking? Like, oh, it's not good news. And it's funny because when was the first time you experienced that? Was it your mom or dad saying, hey, come here, we got to talk? And like, well, what happened? What did I do? Are you going to punish me? Did I do something wrong? And right away we go there because that's so natural. And let me see here. Oh, thank you so much. And so you go through these processes, and they're being triggered, and it's a childhood experience. So what I want us to look at is, what's the first thought that comes to mind? See, it's not going to be a good thought. Now, let's say you had an interaction with someone, and your secretary says, hey, so-and-so is here. He wants to talk to you, or she wants to talk to you. Goes, oh, man, right away, like, uh-oh, like, now what? And so your brain has the tendency to go to what's a negative outcome, kind of to protect yourself in a way, but it's not working. That doesn't protect you. That's my dog barking. Sorry about that. It doesn't really protect you that way. So we got to counter that. Be mindful of what's the first thought comes in. All right. So when you go through this experience, instead of thinking, oh, he's probably going to break up with me, or he found somebody else, he's probably married, who knows, and now he's going to tell me. And we go through the whole thing of rejection. It's a rejection feeling. He doesn't want me. I'm not good enough. He's going to break up with me. Then cancel that out and stay focused on the now. Don't go revert to the younger you that's having these emotional issues, but lift your thinking up a notch or two, and basically think, okay, fine. As I stay focused on the now, I can say, well, gee, maybe he's coming by to give me some good news, maybe whatever. It doesn't really matter. why he wants to come and talk to me. But the point is, in my mind, I can picture that he's coming to talk to me. I can come and picture that we're having a very good conversation. That my state is, I'm managing my state. My breathing is calm. My speaking ability is very articulate and calm and relaxed. I'm making good eye to eye contact. I feel all right, no matter what he's saying. He can be telling me all kinds of stuff. I don't know what the content of the conversation is, but I'm imagining that we're having this conversation, and I'm very calm and relaxed, poised, in control. And then I imagine that he's leaving, and I'm still calm and in control. Because when I often ask people what would be a positive thought or image, they often say that he's going to come and give you an engagement ring, that he wants to share his lottery winnings, that he wants to invite you on a weekend trip, romantic rendezvous. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute, why do we have to say he's got to do something to make me feel good? It's like, it's not outside of me. The management of stress is not something that he has to do in order for me to feel better. Remember, we have these three fingers pointing right back at us. What am I going to do to make me feel better? What am I going to do internally to resolve this to make me feel better? So I don't care if he comes to break up with me or he's going to propose to me. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that regardless what happens, I'm in control. I'm managing my state because I'm working from the now, in the position of an adult that has many resources that I can access easily at will because I have them within me already. So I can manage to access calm. I can access patience, understanding. I know my value and my worth, that we might not be a match. That's okay. It's not the first time I'm going to be dumped. It has happened many times before, but I'm survived it. I'm a victor. I'm a victorious woman or individual, and I'll continue to move forward. Better to leave this relationship now before we go into deep and knowing it's not going to work or that we're not a match. That's okay. I can handle that. As long as I focus myself on the now. As the adult with resources, I can handle that. And I can understand it when I can deal with it very effectively. So, but if I revert to the child or the younger version of me, he's like, oh, he's gonna leave me. Only a kid does that, reacts that way. This way, focus on the now and planning ahead of time, I'm responding to this appropriately. So once I have the imagery in my head as to how I'm going to be during the conversation, during the exchange, during the interaction, that I'm good, I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm in control, I'm accessing my resources, and all is well, I put my three fingers together and I lock in all those resources of what I need to have available for me when we actually do meet and talk. Okay, so that way I lock them in, and I say to myself mentally, whenever I have a need or desire to think, believe, behave, or be this way, all I need to do is press my fingers together, and it will be so. Now, somebody press the two fingers, others, will press the three fingers. It doesn't matter. It just means that you're locking in the experience with this trigger mechanism. So now you're prepared. So come 5 o'clock, you see him pulling up, or you hear the doorbell ring. You close your eyes for a few moments, calm yourself, press your fingers, bring back that you who is in the now with access to resources and is fully capable of handling whatever comes your way. You open your eyes, keep your fingers together, and then have your conversation. Greet, this person and see what happens. And whether it's a proposal or an invitation to a weekend romantic trip or it's a breakup, it doesn't matter. You'll be fine because you will. You're a victorious individual. Remember that, okay? So we'll be able to work with that, okay? And also always encourage you to step in to the image of you as you're going through, because it's always important to experience this ideal mental experience or mental picture and really have a feel for that. So you're in the experience itself. I'll guide you along the way. But think of any stressful situation that you want, and you're going to find that they all are going to trigger helplessness or hopelessness or control issues or rejection or abandonment. No matter what it is, it's going to all come back to one of those core experiences. So for now, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and do this meditation when we do the meditation, I want you to think of a really stressful experience you've had recently that's still kind of fresh that you can like use as an example, and or something that causes you to feel stressed, like maybe a meeting with your boss or making a sales pitch or doing a proposal or talking in front of people, whatever really stresses you out. Then maybe a certain individual, whatever it might be. So something that's just happened or something that really stresses you out that you know is going to happen again in your life. So you want to bring that into the meditation so we can resolve that. And I want you to focus on the pattern. That's why I have a put in on the PowerPoint the steps, because I want you to focus on the pattern that you're going to instill in you to resolve this potentially stressful situation. And the other thing, because once you have the pattern, then you're able to work with that pattern. And the other thing too is that remember that we did some time ago the eye movement desensitizing process. That little process can also be very effectively used when you're wanting to neutralize a stressful experience, an anger or a fear. Okay, so I'll come back and we'll talk about this when we come back. And for now, think of questions, see how I can help you along the way. It's on my clock about 12:24. How about we take 15 minutes? Is that good for maybe a bathroom break? Maybe get a little snack if you need to, or whatever it is. And we'll come back in 15 minutes, which on my clock would be 12:40. All right. That's Central Time. You have your own clock, maybe all over the world, because you're all coming from all over the world. So just give 15 minutes, mark it, and I'll be back here in 15 minutes. Okay. Have a good little intermission, and we will see you soon. All right. I'm going to go back and put in the screen here. So take your time. Enjoy. Talk to you soon. back here, back again. Now, where was I? There's so many things we're covering. I think one of the last things that we're talking about basically was, excuse me, on the eye movement desensitizing process. And if you have any questions, by all means, just write something in a live chat, okay? Or anything that you want to understand more about, all right? But in the eye movement desensitizing process, I mean, there's a whole big training that you can go through to know that. But for a personal use, I know I'm saying this because I've been doing this for like 40 years, maybe. I think at least 30 some years. Just to get yourself, when you have that emotion of fear and or anger or even jealousy or whatever is really stirring at you and it's something emotional, then I would do for myself is I would just kind of do it to myself. And the idea is to move your eyes, not your head, just your eyeballs to go with your hand. And it's going to be a hand motion from one angle to the other. And I do it maybe 10 times, 10, just depends, because you'll feel yourself shifting. So when you feel like it's feeling better, then move to the other one, the other angle. Doesn't matter which one goes first, all right? And then from angle to angle, but all the way down. So angle to angle. Then you go up, down, and side, at the level of your ears. Side, 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 side. Okay? So angle to angle. So if I was feeling angry about something, whatever, I would just kind of like go and bring those anger, those emotions really to the forefront, and I would just kind of feel them even more, and I would just like, and breathe, and then the next one. And then just breathe, and that's basically all I would do. And then I would just kind of evaluate, did it go away? Do I feel better? Yeah, obviously I do feel better. So, and that's what you need to do. So on the spot, whenever you experience something like you really want to get rid of it, just go to some little corner, go into the bathroom, go wherever you can, and just do this eye movement, or do all the other things that we also already talked about, like ideal place of relaxation, tranquil and passive seeing, deep breathing, purposeful daydreaming, fractional relaxation, all of those other things, okay? So you have a lot to work with. But this here, we're going to get to working with really more of the root causes behind the stress that you may be experiencing. Now, I told you, make sure that you pay attention to the pattern of it, because even now, I mean, even if like going back to another example, the example of maybe someone coming to my office who I've had an issue with, let's say, and now she wants to come and talk to me, something like, okay, so like going, oh, now what? Now I'll say, okay. So I will tell my secretary, just give me a few moments, I'll tell you when to let her come in, and I'll just close my eyes, take a deep breath, as I'm doing right now, okay? This is what I would do. I would picture her walking in, that we have a great conversation, that I'm a good listener. I let her speak all she wants. I keep a half smile on my face, and that she's going on talking about whatever she needs to say, whatever. And I just kind of compassionate little smile, soft smile. And then I respond to her appropriately. And that, it's very pleasant, and that we can shake hands as we part. So I don't know what's going to happen, but that's what I want to happen as an outcome. So once I do that, I lock in that whole experience, that I'm calm, I'm relaxed, I'm compassionate, I'm empathetic if I need to be, I'm patient, I have a soft smile, my wording is very, very thoughtful and managed, and everything is okay, and I lock it in. Okay, I'm ready to go. So I say, okay, send her in, please. Okay. I mean, this is what we're going to do in a mental exercise, but you can do it in as little as a few seconds, a minute or less, 30 seconds. You can go through the whole process. It won't take that long, but you already know what you have to do in order to overcome that. If I'm going to acknowledge the emotion that's being triggered, or the core experience, I would say what's being triggered is a little bit of of anger and fear, maybe because I can't control this person. She's uncontrollable or whatever it might be. And that really, it's something that annoys me because, we tend to be control freaks, as I mentioned earlier. So if that's the case, I recognize that it's something in my past. I go through the imagery very quickly, and then I lock it in, and then I play it out. All right. So if you have any questions about that, let me know so that I can or go over it again, or we can make sure that we're good. All right. So all that being said, let's get ready for a mental exercise. Let me get it together here, and let me share this here with you, because this is what we're going to do right there. Okay, transform stress exercise. All right, and then later on we'll do the informing the child exercise. So get comfy, start getting to a comfortable position. Let me just had this exercise in front of me just now, and now it's not here. Where are you? I apologize for that delay. Here it is. Okay. And I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do. I wish we had a lot more time, but there's a lot of things that we can do. So we'll see about that. Give me a second. Why am I having this challenge here? Not to fret. I should come up with it. I'm coming. There, finally. Okay, so let's get comfortable. Find a comfortable position. We'll use the 3-2-1 method for this exercise. Close your eyes. Take a deep belly breath. And while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 3 times. As you know, level 3 is for physical relaxation, where you can learn to relax physically from head to toes in a matter of seconds. This is especially good for stress management. To help you learn how to relax physically at level 3, I'm going to direct your attention to different parts of your body. Relax your scalp. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes and the tissues surrounding your eyes. Relax your face. Remember that soft smile. Relax your tongue. Relax your jaw. Relax your throat externally and internally. Relax your neck and spine and your back. Relax your shoulders, arms, and hands. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your chest externally and internally. Imagine every cell, tissue, gland, and organ functioning in a healthy rhythmic manner. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, relax your abdominal area externally and internally. Imagine every cell, tissue, gland, and organ to be functioning in a healthy rhythmic manner. Now do the same as you relax your pelvic area. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet all the way down to your toes. Take a few moments to release and relax any lingering tension or ligament pressure. And make or establish a point of reference with this experience. Remember to continue to breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically throughout the entire exercise. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. This is your physical relaxation level 3. Whenever you mentally repeat and visualize the number 3, your body, brain, and mind will relax as completely as you are now, and more so every time you practice. Take another deep belly breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize the number 2 3 times. Level 2 is for mental relaxation. To relax mentally, picture a tranquil and passive scene. Any scene that makes you feel tranquil and passive helps you to relax mentally. And it's a great strategy to use whenever you experience stress setting in order to manage that stress. Do so now. Imagine as if you're in the experience itself and enjoy. Take another deep breath. And while exhaling, mentally repeat and visualize number 1 3 times. You are now at level 1, the basic plane level that you're able to use for a purpose, any purpose you desire. Remember this feeling. Establish a point of reference or reinforce the point of reference you've established earlier in another meditation for mental relaxation. Notice how your body feels so relaxed, and yet also your mind feels so very relaxed. To help you enter a deeper, healthier level of mind, I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will feel yourself going deeper, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. We're now going to impress the stress management strategy. At this time, think of a situation or an individual that causes you stress or you have trouble dealing with. You can also think of a recent stressful experience. Now be conscious of when your body first begins to shift towards stress and where in your body you experience it. Your body will let you know when you begin to shift from being relaxed to stressed. It could be a tension in your muscles or any part of your body. It could be a sensation in the pit of your stomach. You may notice that your stomach feels nervous-like. Become very sensitive to how your body reacts to stress. Now imagine closing your eyes the moment you feel your body shifting from comfort towards stress. Closing the eyes helps shut out the external stimulus so you can begin to listen to what is going on inside. And also, it helps in slowing down the brain frequency. Now take a deep breath in order to pace your breathing, exhaling slowly and gently, saying to yourself mentally, relax. I am getting or gaining control. Do this a second and third time with a breath each time. Relax. I'm gaining control. This helps to calm and pace you. Now identify what is being triggered. Is it anger, fear, or both? Then identify what core experience is being triggered. Is it abandonment, rejection, helplessness, hopelessness, or a lack of control? Now separate yourself from that core experience of your past, which means then that you separate yourself from the past or younger you that does not have the needed resources to best handle the situation, and allow the adult you in the now to take charge. Create an ideal mental picture of what you desire as an outcome. Make sure the main focus is on you and picture an outcome that represents you at your best. Imagine yourself handling the situation very resourcefully. Step into that resourceful adult you and engage in that image of you fully and completely. Be one with the you in the image and fully experience the outcome you desire. Notice your breathing, your posture, eye contact, tone of voice, ability to express yourself, your calm nature, the sense of being in control of yourself. And when everything feels just right to you, press your fingers together and say to yourself mentally, whenever I have a need or desire to feel, think, believe, or behave this way, all I need to do is press my three fingers together and it will be so. Whenever I have a need or desire to feel, think, believe, or behave this way, all I need to do is press my three fingers together. So now imagine opening your eyes and handling the situation resourcefully. Relax, feeling well, listening to my voice. Return to this place and time. Eyelids remain closed. Now, once again, imagine a situation in the future, the same one or another one, and play out in your mind how you are going to handle it. First, you notice a shift. Then you identify the core experience and the emotion, whether it's fear and or anger. You separate yourself from that core experience to focus on the now. You imagine a positive and desired outcome and how you are going to manage it, the situation resourcefully. You step into the resourceful you image, experience it, lock it in with your three fingers, open your eyes, and manage that situation effectively. That's the pattern that you will use on the spot from now on. The moment you feel and or experience any kind of stress setting in. Remember, you can also use the eye movement desensitizing reprogramming process to lessen the emotional experience that you may be going through when stress appears. Simply think of that emotion that is bothering you, causing stress, enhance it. Then, without moving your head, only your eyeballs, use your hands to direct your eyeballs from one angle all the way down diagonally to another corner, around 10 times, and then shift to the other opposite corner all the way down diagonally to the opposite lower corner, then up, down, and then side, 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 side at the level of the ears. Allow your body to show you how many times, to indicate to you how many times to go in either direction, so that you can experience a release of that unresourceful or undesirable emotion and allow it to help you manage stress effectively. Relax. You're now experiencing a deep sense of relaxation. As you come out of this wonderful state of peacefulness, you will feel fully rested, alert, energetic, and healthy. I will now count from 1 to 3. At the count of 3, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and healthy. 1. Slowly and gently begin to bring your awareness back to this time and this place, bringing with you all the benefits of deep relaxation. 2. Notice your breathing. Feel your clothing in contact with your body. 3. Open your eyes, feeling refreshed and perfectly healthy, and with an increased sense of peacefulness, feeling as if you have had the right amount of refreshing, relaxing, healthy sleep. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. So if you want to email me, you're welcome. Not email me, but put something in the live chat by all means. I'm always looking forward to having you on the live chat and being able to communicate and go back and forth with me that way. All right. So I hope everyone is doing good. I hope you're still with me. And let me see. Okay. Thank you. It was great feeling joyful. Good. But more than that, I want it to be an experience for you that allows you to have a tool to manage your stress or tools to manage your stress effectively. Betsy says, hi, Laura. Every morning I'm rushing everyone, 5, 4, and 1-year-old out of the home, arguing, anger with my partner to do a part. I'm looking for the ideal technique during the rush. Well, I think if you wake up in the morning before you even get out of bed and you are able to plan out your day that way, you're going to do much better. I know this technique will help you for sure. It's going to be very helpful for you to work with it when you're in the spot. But really, if you're in the morning, that's the other thing you all have learned to do is to be able to plan out your day. So if you're in the morning, you stay in bed for just, even if it's 3 minutes, just, you know what your routine is, you know, if you got 3 little ones, you know that you're gonna, the usual stuff that happens. I mean, it's better to be calm, relaxed, and loving than angry. I mean, you don't want your children to grow up seeing you angry all the time for doing things that, you know, they need to do. And, you know, their children are children. What can we say? Some have, and they're also different, aren't they? I mean, one of my daughters would just take her time. The other was always ready on time. So it was like always different personalities and all that kind of stuff. But you know that, you know your children. They've been around you all their lives, and you've been around them for 5, 4, and 1 year. You know, all each differently. But if you picture yourself calm, relaxed, in control, Remember how wonderful it is to have children and how much joy they bring into your life and lived experience. And you see them, for uh, the beautiful individuals and beings that they are, that you chose to bring to this planet. You chose to have them and to bear them, and it's your responsibility to guide them and mentor them, and guide them in a positive way, and be the ideal example for them to grow up to be like you. So, how would you like for them to be with their children? Is how you're showing how you are with them. So, all that being said, you're their greatest role model. You're their heroine. You're like their number one person in their life. They love and adore you, and if you remember that they only come from a space of love, maybe we'll be a little bit more gentle and appreciative of how things are moving. And if it's something that you need to be better prepared, to take care of, like prepare things in advance, and that may help as well. I don't know. But my point is that if you picture your day flowing smoothly and everybody happy, and you give them some kind of acknowledgement and of appreciation, I think it makes a big difference, than having to be all like really tense and rushing through things and being kind of rushed in every way. So do your meditation in the morning, plan your day ahead of time, and plan how you want things to unfold, especially during that time that's so stressful. Alexander says it's fear of rejection, abandonment, and belly, the heart, back and neck. So you really do experience a lot of these different things. And so these emotions, they keep popping up like that. They need to be resolved. It's almost as if a part of you growing up didn't get these things resolved, didn't get to go through those issues in a very healthy way, because they're still popping up. They still want your attention. So we're going to work with that next. Okay. Let me see. What do we have here? Let me see. Great level experience, wonderful. Can you suggest how to ease the stress of deep grief over the death of a pet or a spouse? We do have a grief meditation that we did. I don't know if you've ever done that workshop, but I think I shared it with you in Silva Manifesting. I'm not sure. But basically, what we did in that particular meditation for grief is that we understand that everyone's, including ourselves, we finite. That's why I say one of the most important things to do is respect time, because life is finite, so we have to live it well. But we need to also appreciate that we can't control everything again, right? We talked about that already. And death is a natural occurrence, and when it happens, even in unnatural ways, it's going to happen one way or the other. We all are going to move on. And it's part of the living process. It's been happening for billions, and not billions, but yeah, maybe for many thousands and thousands of years since man has been walking the earth. We've been doing it. So I trust that creative energy or creator has really refined the process in a way that is flawless and smooth and beautiful, and that transition is amazing, and that truly, I mean, we're going back to our natural state of energy, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So if we stop thinking about our loss and start focusing on the wonderful memories that we enjoyed with that person, that might be a more healthier way of looking at things. Or with our pets, I ask people to go through a process of thinking of all good memories. And there's got to be many, many good memories when it comes to people that you've lost, or your pets as well. So what I ask people to do is, you can do this on your own, is to think of a very happy memory that brought you great joy, and then encapsulate that memory into a bead, and put that bead into a basket next to you. Then think of another great memory and really enjoy it. Bring back the wonderful feelings of love and happiness and appreciation, and capture all that into another bead and put into your basket. And do that with as many memories as you can. Then with your imagination, get your baskets and look at all the beads that represent all these wonderful memories, and amplify them, double and triple and quadruple, so that your basket is so full of beads that represent all the wonderful, happy moments you had with this person or your pet. And once you have that, then you imagine first your life unfolding in front of you, like a road that represents your life, and it unfolds in front of you. Where you are is your present, and at the end of your life, there is an end. We know that. So to get your basket of beads, and you toss them all out into your life ahead. And you know what happens with beads. Some of them roll out and go far, far away, but others don't roll too far, and others stay right next to you. And so you imagine that you step into your life's journey, continuing life's journey. And then from time to time throughout your life, you're going to step on one of these beads. And when they break open, they're going to fill you with all this joy and happiness and the goodness that this person left behind or your pet left behind. And so we need to reframe, in other words, where we place our focus. Are we going to place our focus on the wonderful memories and know that, one day we may come together again, and or are we going to place our memories on our poor me, I miss them, they're not with me any longer kind of thing. That I think if we place our focus on the wonderful gifts that they gave us, then we're far better off and in a more healthy way handling the situation. Then what I like to do is that I like to picture them in front of me, the person who I've lost or my pet, and then I like to share with them everything that they've allowed me to enjoy, all the goodness they taught me, the love I experienced with them, the deep gratitude I have for them having been in my life at the time that they were in my life, and share all the things I was not able to share when they were alive, and bring closure to that. And then I bring them into my heart, and I allow them to express themselves like a light or a flower, and that generates this energy that goes out throughout my body and fills me completely with love, appreciation, and gratitude. And I tell them, keep on your journey, because we may not understand why all these things do happen, and sometimes they happen in untimely ways and unexpected ways, but nevertheless, we don't understand everything. We don't know the big picture from the creator or from creative energy, but we know that it's going to happen. But we say, go on your way. Don't hold back, because I'm suffering and I'm grieving. I wish you well in this wonderful journey, like we wish anybody well in any journey they take. We're always wishing, have a great journey, love you, see you soon. What's different here? So just have them continue with your journey, and I wish you all the best. So I think, if we just deal with it in those kinds of ways, it's going to be a lot healthier than being stuck and the grief aspect of it. And also allow yourself to grieve. I mean, grief is an important process of the healing as well. I mean, there's many stages to grieve, and they don't happen all in the same order. And just allow yourself to go through the process, but you'll be fine. You'll heal through this. I created this meditation because my niece passed away suddenly, unexpectedly. She got sepsis in her ovaries, and she had high tolerance to pain. She just didn't think it was something she had to go to the hospital for, and just from one moment to the next, she was gone, and it was a real shocker. She was only like 42, and my sister, I happened to be with her when she got the news, and it was so hard, and it was so hard. She grieved it so heavily. So I created this meditation to help her through the grieving process and to be able to move through it in a healthy manner. Another thing that she would do is that she would lay back in bed and she would imagine all her grief floating above, and she would give it like a color, like a dark cloud of all her grief and her pain and her tears and her sorrow is just floating above. And then she would imagine her daughter's hands come and just work with her energy, just clean up and transmute this grief and this dark cloud into something beautiful and light and loving and healing and energetic. And she would imagine that the hands of her daughter would clean up the energy and then give it back to her and give it back into her heart area, and that fill her completely with her love and her positive energy and healing energy. And those two things she did every time she was going through, especially with the hands transmuting the energy. She would do that 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, just for her ongoing healing process. So I hope this helps. I hope this is something you can also use for yourself. Let me see. Okay, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you, Bill. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to now to finish off this part. I want us to go into talking about the informing the child, because a lot of times when certain things keep coming up, maybe if you happen to experience rejection, then it's probably going to be something that that occurs over and over again. It's a recurring situation, which means that's where you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to that. So rejection is probably going to be more associated with fear, because you said there's going to be a lot of things that are more future based. Like, what if they don't like me? What if I do wrong? What if I never find someone to love me? What if I give myself to this person and then, he or she leaves me for somebody else? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? So that all that is based around rejection, and it's an unresolved situation. So what I want you to think about, and the same thing applies to or control issues, or anything having to do with helplessness, hopelessness, or abandonment. We need to recognize that these have been going on for a long time, all our lives. Like, if you were to think about, when was the first time I felt rejection, or when was the first time I felt I couldn't control the situation? When was the first time I felt abandonment or helplessness or hopelessness? So we're talking about all those emotions we've had experiences with since we were very, very young. And many of them were reinforced over and over and over and over again through time. So certainly we experienced all those things when very young. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, how many times did we say, you're to be talked to, not heard, stay quiet, I tell you what to do, don't challenge me. And so that's a sense of authority. So authority figures like mom and dad, don't talk, don't answer back, no, just, kind of things, zip it, whatever. So we didn't have control, because someone bigger, someone of a greater authority, someone who was my elder, someone who is a parent, someone who then later becomes a boss or a supervisor, is now in charge of your life and experience, and you're not in control of that. So they start off very young, but get reinforced over and over and over and over and over and over again. And when it comes to control, it's not about not being able to control. It's about accepting the fact that you have chosen, or to put yourself in certain situations, that you chose it or you allowed it to happen. Whether you have an overbearing spouse or lover, whether you have an overbearing boss or supervisor, whatever it might be, or a family member who's always like on your case or whatever. When that happens, you're allowing it to happen because you're afraid that you may or lose your job, or you may lose a relationship, or you may lose that connection, or whatever, or that you might whatever it might be. So it's usually a fear attached to a rejection. So we need to go back and resolve or understand, because from the now, I can understand, well, gee, I can have choice here. I can or change my job, I can leave my partner, or I can speak out and really, rehearse me speaking out and holding my ground and expressing my feelings, my emotions, and my needs as well. But you have to make that choice. So you're either going to choose to not allow it to happen, or to take action, or you're going to zip it up, because if you're not going to do something to make it better, then stop complaining. Okay, or stop being afraid of the fear. Do something about it, or you lose your right to complain. So another thing that what we can do is go back to in time to when you felt the most rejection in your life, or the lack of control in your life, or the abandonment issues, or where you felt the most helpless or hopeless. Go back to where you believe, that your intuition guide you. And we'll do this in a few moments, to a time in your childhood when that will maybe represent the first times you recognize these emotions. And then imagine how you looked at that age. I can imagine myself, when I was like 4 and 5 and 6. I've seen pictures of myself, and I don't have a lot of pictures, I don't think, of me being like 5 and 4, but I do have a lot of them, like maybe from 6 and when I was a baby, and I do have some of those. But I remember how I looked. I remember how I was. And so I go back to that child me, which is really a loving thing to do. And I just have a chat. I sit, little Laurita or Laura on my lap, and I hug her really tight, and I tell her how much I love her and I appreciate her, how I appreciate everything she's gone through. Because of her experiences, I'm able to be who I am today. Now, some of you know, some of these experiences were really challenging and trying and hard, but I really give her a lot of gratitude for having gone through that, because I couldn't be me today had she not gone through that. And if it was rejection, or if it was hopelessness or helplessness, or not being in control of situations because of the conditions that they were in, and I just explained to her that it's not your fault. There's certain things that were happening around you, or mom and dad, weren't aware of these things, or so-and-so is just not a good person. They're not well, and they needed some help, or, whatever it is. It's informing the child to have a better understanding of the situation around them and giving them the love and the support and the tools the child needs in order to heal and to feel good about themselves and to know that they're supported, that they're loved, that they're being embraced, that someone is paying attention to them. And I know it might sound odd that it's in your imagination, all that kind of stuff, but the uncanny thing is, or the really wonderfully interesting thing is that when you heal that part of your life, the rest of your life, takes on the healing as well. The other journey of life also takes on the healing. So I have talked to my younger me or child me so many times in the past that I have a very good relationship with me in different phases, mostly in the very, very young childhood ages. And I feel like I have been such a great guide to her, to me as a young girl, as a little girl. I've been such a good sense of support, emotional support, because that's what we're talking about here, emotional support that has been able to allow me to heal all the way through to now and stay focused in the now. So I don't revert to like, oh, poor me, I mean, I used to do that all the time. I used to cry all the time. But why would I cry? Who cries if it's not a child? So again, I just want to let you know that this kind of healing, although it's done subjectively with your imagination, is real healing in and of itself. So when you go and talk to the child you're going to talk to the child you, and you're going to give that child all the information he or she needs at different phases of life until you feel you have gotten over. And you can do this comfortably. It can be a loving, very lovely experience. And you're going to just give them as much information as they need so that they can understand, oh, okay, wow, I didn't know that. The child doesn't know a lot of things. They're oblivious to a lot of things. But you, looking back, you know a lot of stuff now, obviously. So with your adult knowledge that you've gained and the experience you've gained throughout the years, go and share that with a child. Say, mom and dad were having fights all the time. They were not getting along, and you felt it and you knew it, and they were always angry at you. And you felt it was your fault, and you felt that you were being rejected. But no, they were having problems. And then dad passes away. And so mom stayed alone, and she was bitter. So she was lonely, and she was not a happy woman. But it was never about you. It was always about her and him and them. They had their own issues. You were always a loving, wonderful child. You were always beautiful and caring and funny and just really special in every way. You were always good to your friends. You always had a lot of friends. You always made good grades in school, and people were, really liked you a lot. Didn't show at home, but that's for these other reasons. And so the child begins to understand and goes like, whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I barely remember my dad, but whatever it is, I'm just making things up right now. But the value and importance of that. But always when you have the conversation with the younger you or the child you at the end, and in the beginning and at the end, you express a lot of love, emotional support, a lot of, embrace them, be very gentle and loving and compassionate. And let them know always, I'm here always for you. I'll come back anytime I need to come back to you. You'll let me know, because you'll appear. They'll let you know. The child you will show up and let you know, I need your attention here. I need to understand the situation better. And they'll show up when you feel angry and afraid and you've triggered a core experience. So let those be you be mindful of that, because that's how you're going to be, how the child's going to inform you, I need you right now. And when that happens, just in a short little meditation, close your eyes and then just relax, and then go back in time to where your intuition tells you your child is calling you. And when you are called by the child, just again, imagine the child, we can say 1, 2, 3, a child appears, or you can, count from 10 to 1 to tune into them, or just imagine them right in front of you. However you want to do it is okay. It works. All right. And then have the conversation. Okay. I noticed that you're feeling a little bit hopeless right now. What's going on? Why do you feel that way? And then start having the conversation. I said, you know what? I remember when you were going through, or we were going through this situation. I mean, you really wanted to, get that new bike, and mom and dad can say there's not enough money, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And all your friends are getting bikes. Remember that time? And anyway, whatever. I think you follow me. If you don't follow me, then let me know. and then I can help fill you in. So I want you to think about a time when or the emotion. Think about it, whether it's fear or anger that you experience the most, and then what's being triggered, what core experience is being triggered. And in this exercise, we're going to go back in time to, and let your intuition guide you to the child calling you. What age was a child when it shows up, like I just said, as a core experience if you're in anger. So pay attention, that's your child calling you. So just allow your intuition to go to the child at that whatever age shows up, okay? And then have this conversation with the child, resolve it, and be very loving and compassionate, and then we'll come back up. And you can always do this, everything I'm sharing with you, you can do at any time. So let me see. True, it's from childhood. Yeah, I agree. And Nebula says, do you have live chats every Wednesday? Not every Wednesday. She goes, I always seem to miss them. No, we usually have a live chat like maybe twice a month. We usually have a free webinar, and then we have like a workshop that you pay for, that it's a little bit more extensive. It's like 3 hours. You get the PowerPoint, you have some meditations, you get a replay, and these are the ones that, like today, that you paid for. But we do have, I think, very substantial free webinars from time to time as well. And mind you, tomorrow it is going to be a very special day, and so be on the lookout for a special email that is going out your way as well. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. All right, but be on the lookout. Okay, so any questions about what we're going to do right now? Because if not, we'll go ahead and move on to this exercise of informing the child. You all right? Okay, so I'm always looking at the questions. So if you do, oh, and then she says, how do I sign up for the pay one? Well, you did this time. How did you sign up this time? You got an email. The email directed you to come here, and you signed up, and that's the way it is. When you register online on our website on laurasilvaquesada.com, and you registered, your name goes in, and you got the 10 free meditations, but then you're on the list, and so you'll get notified for specials and the workshops coming up. And we're also, next month, we're going to launch the New Mind for Prosperity audio program, which is a brand new audio program you haven't had before. Some of you have come through and helped me to evolve this, because you took a course with me last year, I believe, maybe earlier this year, but I think it was last year. And so the course has evolved even further, and I've taught it, like, maybe not taught it in Paris. I go into Madrid and teach this course as well in mid-December. And so this course will be launched next month. So if you're on my list already, you're going to get the announcements for the launch, and you're going to get the special deals because you're on the list. Okay, so if you got this one, you're already on the list, and you'll know future ones to come. All right, great. Super. All right, so do you need to stretch out or anything? Are you just like, before we do this next exercise? It's not as long, and it's going to be, I don't think it'll be as long as the other one, but we'll enter this exercise again with a 3-2-1 method and do a 10-1 countdown. And then I'm going to go ahead and move into being able to move into a time where you can connect with the younger you. So I'm going to count slowly to from 10-1 to allow your body, brain, and mind and intelligence to intuitively attune to the right internal state, for you to connect with the younger you at the right age, at the right time. And so you're going to go through that. So as I count from 10-1, allow yourself to move back in time to where the younger you is calling to you, okay? And when you are there, then you're going to sit with the younger you, and you're going to have a conversation. All right, so I'll guide you. It's an easy, very, very sweet exercise. I believe that you'll enjoy it. Let me know how it goes afterwards, okay? All righty then. So that being said, I'm going to put the screen back up to the meditation here, and that way you can see. This will be our last exercise, informing the inner child. All right? Okay, great. So find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat, or visualize the number three 3 times, and relax your body from head to toes by releasing tensions and pressures along the way. You know how to do this, and you also have your point of reference for physical relaxation. Begin to practice accessing deep physical relaxation as you need it. Go ahead. Take another deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat or visualize the number two 3 times and relax your mind by thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. Experience this scene as if you're actually there. Take your time and enjoy. Take another deep breath, and while exhaling, mentally repeat or visualize the number one 3 times. You are now at level one, the basic plane level that you are able to use for a purpose, any purpose you desire, to help you enter a deeper level of mind. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. On each descending number, you will experience yourself going deeper, and you will enter a deeper, healthier level of mind. 10, 9, feel going deeper. And as you go towards 1, notice how it makes you feel more and more relaxed. 8, 7, 6, deeper and deeper. 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper. 2, 1. You are now at a deeper, healthier level of mind, deeper than before. At this time, notice what seems to appear the most when under stress. What emotion is more prevalent? Maybe it's both anger and or fear. Anger usually occurs for things or in relation to things past, whereas fear usually is in relation to things future. Think of times that you have experienced stress or things that make you feel stressful, and recognize what core experience is being triggered. Knowing that when anything is being triggered, it is directly related to your past, typically your childhood. What core experience? Is it abandonment, rejection, helplessness, hopelessness, or feelings of not being in control of the situation or of a person? What seems to be more prevalent to you? What appears the most? Recognize that every time fear and anger show up and it triggers a core experience, it's as if a younger version of you or a child you is calling out to you for help, for understanding. So I'm going to count from 10 to 1. And as I count slowly towards 1, imagine your intuition guiding you towards that younger you or child you at the exact age that's ideal for you to have a conversation with that child and inform them, guide them, support them, and help them to understand what is happening and be able to overcome some of those negative experiences or misunderstood experiences. I will now count 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Without questioning, allow the scene to open and notice the you in front facing you right now. How old are you? Picture you at that age. Allow memories to surface to come your way. You saw yourself in the mirror many, many times. You know what you look like. Allow memories of your feelings and emotions to fill you. Sense a deep appreciation for you at that age. Reach out, extend your arms, invite the child you to come and sit on your lap. If it's an older child, then to sit by your side or in front of you. Embrace the child. Feel them in your arms. Feel their embracing you as well with so much love and happiness. Pull them away from you a little bit and let them look at you. And as they do, tell them, I love you so much. Look who we've become. Because of you, I have been able to become this person. I not only love you, but I appreciate you. And I'm here to support you every step of the way. You called me here now. I know now how to listen to you, how to listen to your call. And I will come every time you call. Again, have a conversation with them. You know why you're there. You know what they're going through. You know what core experience they're having at this point in time. And you know why. From your adult perspective, you know why they're going through these challenging moments or confusing moments. Take some time to explain to them what is happening from your adult perspective. Information you know that there's no way they could know as a child or you could know as a child. Give them the understanding. Share it with great love and appreciation. They'll understand you. They'll know exactly what you're talking about once you start sharing it. Go ahead. Take your time. You have a precious little one there with you, so special in every way, strong and yet fragile, smart and yet inexperienced and naive. But they'll get it. Just talk to them with lots of love and compassion. Talk to them, inform them. Take your time. Go on. When you are done, inform the child. Gently and so lovingly again embrace them. Let the child know that you're always here for them and that they can always call you again. And what you are hoping that they do is just simply grow up and find their rightful space within you until they fill you completely and they can enjoy life fully and completely in the now. Allow the child to express gratitude to you as well, because they know that you're there for all the right reasons, with great love in your heart for them, with great appreciation in your heart for them. The love and the appreciation is mutual. Now, this time, as you embrace the child, allow the child to come and become one with you. And for that one moment and that experience, allow the child to begin to grow within you. Healthy, emotionally, with a greater understanding of what happened, a greater ability to handle that situation. Allow the child to continue growing within you. Imagine through the teenage years, young adult, to who you are today. And tell the child, welcome home. Let's enjoy this life together in the now. Continue to breathe slowly, deeply, and rhythmically. And relax. Feeling well and listening to my voice, return to this place and time. Eyelids remain closed. Every time you use these levels of mind, your ability to control your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and your life increases. You find you are more confident and dynamic through time. You become increasingly aware of the potential in using your mind to help you in the enjoyment of living. You increasingly realize that you are responsible for the control of and the richness and joy of your life. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. At that moment, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, feeling better than before. 1, coming out slowly now. 2, at the count of 3, you open your eyes, are wide awake, feeling fine. 3, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, feeling better and better than before. Well, good morning, everyone, or good evening, whatever the situation may be for you in your part of the world. I hope everything is going well with you. So we covered a lot of ground today. And I hope that you're able to see and experience the value of what you have learned in Silva, and how there have been many, many embedded tools that you can utilize in so many ways to manage your stress on an ongoing basis. That also how important it is to recognize the real cause of stress, the emotional cause of stress, and that fear and anger are just your best friends to tell you where to focus your attention in order to heal those old core experiences that may have resulted in some kind of maybe lack in some way. So anytime they show up, anytime fear and anger shows up, like I've said many times, they will trigger off a core experience of any one of those 5 core experiences that really is the child you calling out to you to come and manage it, to heal it through time. But every time the child learns something, it's growing up. It's being given what it needs, or he or she needs, in order to be able to heal and to catch up, and then really live this life in the now. Because if you're living the past or in the future, well, you're missing out on living. You're not really living your life now, and life is to be enjoyed and really to be experienced fully and completely. And this is where you're able then to attract all the goodness you want, but you can't do it if you're always focused in the past or in the future. And there's anger and fear that is always flooding you or crowding you. So let's little by little, let's get rid of all the anger and all the fear. Let's satisfy the needs of those core experiences, the needs of the child. And as you do, you're going to become full, whole, and complete in every way. And you're going to have an amazing life. So lucky for you, you've got some stress situations coming up that are going to give you plenty of opportunities to apply your tools and techniques, because that's exactly what it's going to be. And let me see, Mary says, oh, it's better than therapy. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I really hope that you enjoyed this workshop, and that you keep in touch with us and with me, and that I'm able to help you along the way. And I really am so grateful. I just want to say how grateful I am that you made the time to spend with me. I know, 3 hours is a big chunk of time, and not everybody has that. But if you couldn't stay for the whole thing, you have a replay. You'll be able to go through the exercises again and again. But I don't want you to go through the exercises every time you need to resolve some kind of stress. I want you to do it on the spot. So on the spot, you're going to either do the eye movement, or you're going to do one of those things I already talked about, whether it's fractional relaxation, ideal place of relaxation, tranquil and passive scene, a gratitude exercise, a countdown, purposeful daydreaming. I mean, whatever it is. And you're going to follow through the pattern of the stress transformation exercise that we did in the exercise, but on the spot. You're just going to go through it and follow through with that, and you're going to be fine. And the inner child work, you can do that in just a matter of moments. It doesn't have to take a long time to do that. And Mary says, I like the better and better pillow behind you. Actually, that pillow was made by it's Maricine and Dick, and they were, great civil graduates and followers. 1974, they made it for my father, and I've had it. He passed on, and I ended up staying with this pillow. It says, to Dr. Jose Silva with love on one side. I'll show it to you, and that's 1974. Let's see. Isn't that cool? And then better and better. So I think it's beautifully done. And this is where I'm going next. This is the pillow, and I'm so grateful because this is our director in Spain. That's Estela Calderon, and this is Goya, and Goya is a friend, and she's a real supporter. She's an amazing woman, and of course, there I am. And Goya made this pillow for me, so um, I'm just so grateful to have them be part of my life as well. Totally enjoy it, and I'm just really grateful to have you in my life. So I so enjoy this time together. I really appreciate that you're here, and if you need anything of me at any time, I'm here for you guys. So just know that, okay? So let me see. Last minute things. Let me see. So relaxing. A big hug from Argentina, Buenos Aires. Thank you, Laura, my tocaya, as we say it here. And Isla says, powerful. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. Mwah, likely as well. And then Alexander said it's beautiful, and both are beautiful. Enjoy España. I will. My daughter, I get to see her dance and perform in Spain. She's performing actually tonight. She's probably getting close to performing right now. She's got this nice tablado that she's going to do, and she's like super like excited about it, and I'm real happy for her. So she's been embraced totally by the Spanish community, being Latina, but she's not Spanish, but she's been embraced. So that's really good. And Isla says, thank you so much. Powerful hug from Texas. Hug back to you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And my heart is filled with such gratitude and love for all of you. I'm here for you guys. All right. And Mari says, great. Guys, you guys have been great. Thank you so much. Really, truly enjoyed being here, and we'll catch you again. And stay tuned for the offer tomorrow, okay? It's a special day, a special offer, all right? All right, guys, love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and have so much to be grateful for. And just remember, gratitude goes a long way, all right? Okay, guys. See you soon. Bye.